hope you're all keeping well and safe at home in isolation at the minute. And even though we can't get to the golf course, it doesn't stop us practicing at home. Today I'm going to be looking through the technique for the chip shot and the clubs that we use for chipping. The wedges that we use are quite specific and they allow us a much greater margin for error while chipping. That's all really because of the bounce. The bounce is the area between the leading edge and the trailing edge on the sole of the club. This area acts as a skid plate, so while the club is coming into contact with the ground, it skips across the surface rather than digging in. That allows us to maintain the speed of the club and maintain a decent strike. Now, the more that you hit into the ground, the more skid you're going to need, so the more bounce you're going to need. But if you're a person who just clips the ball off the top of the ground, you'll need a very small amount of bounce. So moving on to the shot itself. Firstly, a chip shot is a small shot that we use around the greens. The ball is going to initially get up into the air and then run the rest of the way towards its target. And as we just said, the clubs that we use, they're designed to interact with the ground completely differently to the rest of the clubs in our set. For that reason, we're going to swing the clubs slightly differently as well. But first, we've got to make sure we're set up right. Okay, so the setup for the chip shot. I've got my 56-degree sand wedge here, but this is going to be the same for every club that we choose to use. Firstly, we're going to get our grip right. We're going to hold roughly halfway down the grip. This gives us a bit more control over the club while we're swinging it. After this, we're going to get our feet set up. They're going to be quite close together, just far enough apart so that I can get the head of the club in between there. After we've got our feet set, we can get into our posture, and to make sure we're the correct distance away from the ground, we're going to bend our knees first and then tip over from our hips until we're a comfortable distance away from the ground and we don't have to stretch out with our arms to reach the golf ball. After we're in that position, I want you to focus on keeping the upper arm connected to the chest. That's going to be the same on both sides, and we're going to keep that the whole way through the swing later on. From here, everything is lined up to the golf ball, which is going to be in line with the centre of my body. After this, I'm just going to favour my left hand side with my weight positioning, which is going to help with a slightly descending blow into the golf ball. Really use that bounce in the swing. So finally, we're moving on to the swing itself, and there's going to be 3 key points to take away from this video. Firstly, we're going to make sure we keep that connection between our upper arm and chest. That's going to allow us to turn around our centre point, around our spine, and then in turn, if we can keep the club out in front of our hands, that maintains the loft on the club and the bounce. If we start leading with our hands or wrists, then it takes loft off the club and also takes all the bounce off the club when we come to hit the ball as well. And secondly, as we're standing side onto the ball when we hit the shot, we're going to let the club work around us in an arc. So it's going to come back on the inside and then work its way around us on the follow through as well. Thirdly, which is going to be the point that's most different to how we'd hit a normal iron shot, say, we'd normally be hitting ball then turf. But when we're chipping, because we've got the bounce on the club, we're allowed to actually hit the ground underneath the golf ball. That allows us to hit the ball more in the centre of the club, controlling the speed that the ball comes off the club, and also controlling the height a little bit better as well. Okay everyone, so the 3 main points in the swing again are to keep the arm and chest connected so they can rotate and easily bring the club back to impact. Second, we're going to let the club work on its natural arc. And the third, we're going to use the bounce of the club and allow it to hit the ground underneath the ball. I hope you all enjoyed that and can take something from it.